Looked like you were having a good time, Victor. Like it looked like the more you drank, the more you became the Great Khali from WWE.
The atmosphere before the game was unbelievable. And there for almost 60 minutes, there was no rugby. It was just going up to TMO. Is this a red? Is this a yellow?
World Rugby is not fan-centric, and they don't care about the fan.
Who was your player of the year in 2025?
You've lived in the scrum, Victor, so you wouldn't be able to talk about the backs because your head was up someone's ass for the most of your career. Why do you have to dance with each other and do all that?
Don't talk to us about dancing, JK. You lads danced before the game, the All Blacks.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm talking
And you
about...
stick out your tongues and everything to us.
Gentlemen, let's just stay positive. What was your moment of the year? Right, welcome to Rugby Rivals, the last show of the season. And Victor, have you stopped harassing Trimby in Ireland?
Trimby just disappeared. I was waiting for him, waiting on the beach. Trimby was just gone after that game. I think he probably got a red card to go back home as well, back to Northern Ireland.
Yeah, no, I was in the water. I just completely forgot to get a recording of it. But yeah, you just need to trust me that I went for swimming Sunday morning, so it's all good.
You'd be in mourning, wouldn't you, Trimby? You'd be in mourning, mate.
Yeah, geez, it was existential in terms of the beating we got up front. So yeah, I decided just to keep my head down and yeah, not make myself known. Looked like you were having a good time, Victor. Like it looked like the more you drank, the more you became the Great Khali from WWE.
Okay, going there. I say we went up to the, I think, do they call it the Black Lake, where they say all the water comes from for the Guinness. And we were on the top there, and the wind was blowing, and I slipped, and I was full of mud, the whole side of me. So I had to walk like that for the whole day. The only thing I've got left now is Springbok kit. I wasn't in Springbok kit, so I'm in Springbok kit for the next of the week.
Did you actually manage to go to the game?
Say again?
Did you manage to go to the game, Victor?
I was at the game. Didn't you see I awarded the player of the year? Had a quick chat before the game on the pitch, but I was there, yes.
I was going to say, that was a neat honour, that you could do that.
Yeah, I thought when they said let's do it in the change room, I said can't we do it on the field that everyone sees it? But yeah, I think it was a special moment. Just the way the other players reacted. It was nice to get back into a Springbok change room as well, especially a change room like this. Looks like the boys are really close and look like they can have a lot of fun as well in there.
Yeah. I think they did the same with Fabian because he got Emerging Player of the Year, and they did in the change room, same reaction.
Yeah.
So I'm pleased those awards mean something, it's good.
No, it's great.
I don't think any Irishmen got any awards, Trimby.
No, it wasn't a weekend to be handing out any Irish awards. And yeah, I would have liked to see Malcolm Marks get march out into the centre of the pitch and create a podium and just have fireworks and celebration just to see how that would have gone down with the Irish crowd. But
I see they've started to sort of attack the coach.
They've gone after Razzie, have they?
No, not the South African coach, mate. He's God.
I mean, the Irish. Oh, they're going after. I think
he's
Farrell
God and then Rusty.
Yeah, Farrell in the press conference was kind of bit back a little bit. One of the journalists said it was a bit of a shambles up front, and yeah, Farrell kind of bit back at him, and Farrell was leaning towards the character that Ireland showed at the end. And then, there's been a few articles written since, and surely Irish rugby is past the point where we're valiant losers or competitive for a long period, did ourselves proud, that sort of tone. But Farrell was going there, and it's not nothing, but shambles was probably a little bit disrespectful from the journalist. I don't know who it was, but yeah, Farrell bit back strongly.
And this is probably a question for you, Victor. Like, are we out of touch? Because last week you said, and I totally agree with you, right? So don't get this question wrong. But why aren't the journalists asking the same questions that we're asking about the red and yellow cards, right? Because how can you have so many incidents in one game and it not be a shambles? I don't care how much you train with one less, two less, but the last couple of weeks we've had Argentina down to 11. You guys were down. Like, is it just us? why aren't the journalists also saying this is unacceptable, or do they just think it's okay what's happening?
I have no idea, but I mean, it was supposed to be a great night for South African rugby. I still think, well, I know we dominated Ireland. I don't think we'll be able to dominate them like that, and they were under pressure, and that's why they was making certain mistakes. But we need to have a look at the rules. We need to have 50 on 15s. I was upset after that game because we flew all the way there. The vibe was unbelievable. The atmosphere before the game was unbelievable. And there for almost 60 minutes, there was no rugby. It was just going up to TMO, going up to, is this a red? Is this a yellow? And that's not what we want to see the game like. We want to see 15 on 15 playing, going at each other, and having a proper test match. So,
Well-
someone will need to ask questions, and I don't know. I know Eddie Jones came out a little bit. Russie, definitely the previous work. Hopefully Farrell will come out, but we need to have a look at this.
Well, I think also the players need to come out, right? Because the two people responsible are Brett Robinson, who is the chairman of World Rugby, who came in 12 months ago and said, I'm going to change stuff, I'm going to move quicker, I'm going to do this, and we haven't even heard from him. And Joel, who is the head of referees, he's got to tell us what's going on. They've just disappeared. They haven't fronted up at all. And it really annoyed me. So I think the coaches have to stand up collectively, but also the players. If the players aren't happy with this, then they've got to stand up as well. And they've got to start changing.
JK, not the coach or a player is allowed to say anything about refereeing. Then they get suspended for 6 months. So they're not in a place where they can stand up. So there needs to be a forum or something where they get together. Let's talk about it. Let's sort this out.
Yeah, and I say they shouldn't do it public, but I reckon, maybe Eddie, our old mate, can actually ring 5 or 6 of the other coaches and say, let's go and do something. And, Rob Nicol, who's head of the Players Association in New Zealand, should ring 3 or 4 players and then take their vote. It should be behind closed door. We can say it publicly. But enough's enough. It's ruining our game. And we talk about it every week. And it must get boring for our listeners because we talk about it every week. And I'm not going to go into the details of whether it was a red card or not because we all know. But even the Welsh game, just the decision-making around a try was a joke. Man, you watch it and go, yeah, no try, move on. And yet 15 minutes later, we're still talking about it. So
I think
the only good thing is the Welsh could get a few more pints in.
Yeah, JK, I think the true test is how important is the audience here? How important is the fan, the crowd? Because they don't want to come to, Victor spent $1 billion to come to Ireland and saw 15 on 12. No one wants to see that. So you can't tell me that the cards in the game are good for the fans of the game. You guys are all ex-players. I'll talk on it as a fan because we talk about it every week. It covers all of Twitter every week. Even during a game, people are arguing that should be a card. That's one of the main talking points of a game. If we care that much about cards now, something's wrong in our game.
Well, I'll answer this for you. World Rugby is not fan-centric. They are a political organisation, and they actually do not move fast enough, and they don't care about the fan. They say they do.
It's the greatest number of rugby constituents. There are more fans than there are players, than there are officials. It's the most important group to any business is your customer, and they're not looking after the customer.
Yeah, the product is about, as you say, Rick, it's about the people coming paying money to be there, and that's how we grow our game. They increase, the appeal of the game. We make it more exciting. We make them more jeopardy. We make them more fun, more all that sort of stuff. It needs to be a showcase. We're not doing that at the minute. And it's, yes, the yellow card, yellow, red cards, but the stop-start nature of just everything's slow, staggered. Everything's just sluggish. We're sluggish. And JK, I agree completely. I think World Rugby is the problem here because they're slow to make decisions. You look at any other sport in the world, MLB made a number of changes a few years back and the game transformed. It completely transformed. And would you believe it? The numbers went up. More people were paying more money to go and see these games and have a good time. And the product, that's what it, let's get over ourselves. Problem is, if we speak to too many players and coaches, they're immersed in rugby and the strategy on the field and the scrum and all this. They're maybe too too thoughtful about that. I think it's the spectators. I agree, Rick. I think it's those guys. They're the ones that are gonna make the showcase, make it exciting. Like JK, that's 2 Ireland games in November that had exactly the same process. The run up to it, I brought my young fella down, and I'm determined to make him a rugby fan. He's run around in a Springboks top. There's an All Blacks top on the way coming from you, JK. I'm determined to make this kid a rugby fan. And I bring him down. I'm like, this is so exciting. Springboks are in town. We walk to the game. He's getting excited talking to everybody else. We arrive at the game. We've got my mate, Barry Murphy, singing the anthems, then singing Zombie before, and I'm singing along. And then as soon as the game kicks off, it's just flat. It's disjointed, disconnected, breaks. And I'm just trying to get my young fella excited. And it's really difficult. You're swimming against the tide. Same thing happened in Chicago. All of the buzz in Chicago, all the Irish fans who came across paid a fortune. And then as soon as the game started, we had the red card 5 minutes in, and everybody kind of just sits down and just goes, right, here we go, more of this again.
You know how I judge our game when I'm watching it? By how many people are on their phones, right? If you're on your phone, the game is boring, right? And the amount of times that people are, here's a bloody, 3 rescript scrums, and they look at their phone, or they go upstairs and like, no.
We love the scrum. Don't talk about the scrum like that. We love the scrum. Come on.
Victor, no. Scrum needs to be set and gone in 30 seconds.
Why? That's why you've got cops playing the game.
Why not?
No ways.
What's the difference? What's the difference with it? You guys like doing that little dance you do, that little dance with Jack, right? Like just set up and go, right? And if it collapses, either play on for the attacking team or reset again.
Important.
Why do you dance? Why do you have to dance with each other and do all that bullshit?
Don't talk to us about dancing, JK. You lads dance before the game, the All Blacks.
Yeah, every game.
I'm talking about.
And you stick out your tongues and everything to us.
Don't change the subject, guys. And do not disrespect our haka. Now, why
don't disrespect our scrum?
I spoke to some. Now, you've lived in the scrum, Victor, so you wouldn't be able to talk about the backs because your head was up someone's ass for the most of your career, right? So why can't you set up a bit quicker and just, do you think you could set up? Because I've asked scrum experts and they say you should be able to set up and set the scrum. I'm not saying what happens afterwards in 30 seconds. So why can't you?
So, I mean, they did speed that up. Even the line out, I think this whole huddle that they do outside the line out, I think it's unnecessary. But I mean, I think South Africa is one of the quickest to get set. They're waiting and they want to scrum. So yeah, I think takes long about that.
And I still agree with you. There needs to
what I don't agree, and that's a problem. Again, another thing we need to sort out. If I played against, let's say, whoever, and I steal every line-out ball, how can you give them a yellow card? Same with a scrum. If one scrum is so dominant, the other guys aren't cheating. They just can't stand up to it. Why do they need to get a yellow card? They're trying. They're giving their best. Now we're sending someone off because they're not strong enough. I don't understand that.
I don't understand that either.
I don't think it should be a penalty. The scrum should be a mechanism to restart the game. But is there any way, is it ever possible for someone to concede a scrum, to lose at the scrum and not concede a penalty? Never, ever happens. Never happens.
Answer me this. Why don't they just play on a little longer, right? Because the dominant scrum, for me, that means you've got 8 forwards on the scrum and the loose forwards can't get off. It makes for a more exciting game. So you either penalise or you let them play, or you say play on, right? But what's happening is a dominant scrum forward, like sometimes the South Africans, or most of the time, they might be going for a penalty. I get that. But other times, the dominant scrum's dominant. They start turning. It should just be play on instead of resetting.
What would happen if South Africans stop getting penalties off scrums, if they use the scrum just to actually pass the ball into Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu's hands, to get the backline going? I mean, with all of the fat props in South Africa, would they all lose weight and start getting more mobility and handling skills? Like, what would happen? Because that the scrum is just to win the ball back, not to win a penalty anymore. It would turn South Africa rugby on its head, would it not?
No, it will, but I mean, that's a thing that they adjusted to. I mean, in our times, we didn't have a scrum like this. And yes, we did have a strong and You wanted the right shoulder. Remember to go play right, get away from the loose forward. Now it's changed. And when I went to Northampton, that was the first time. We didn't have a play from the scrum. Every scrum was to get a penalty or you lose a penalty. And that's where South Africa, they go for the scrum, they get the penalty, and then they've got a free go with their backs as well. And then they come back. But I'm with you. I mean, in the old days as well, there was times where you could scrum for 10, 15 meters and the guys were hanging and you were going. Now it's just go penalty and then you play away. So that's probably something we need to look at.
What I reckon you could do is say, right, you've got to, and this is another thing about advantage. Once again, at the beginning of the season, and this happens every season, the referees control something, right? So we need to take some control off the referees and especially off the TMO. So the first things they should do is the scrum needs to be set in 30 seconds, but let's have, like they do with basketball, either a 30-second countdown or some noise in the stand. And right, your first option from a dominant scrum should be to run it, but you can go back to the penalty, but you've only got 1 or 2 rucks to do it. So I think advantage should be 3 rucks, right? And then it's over. Or 4 rucks, right? So you imagine if you had a scrum, you get a free shot at the backs because the forwards are going backwards, but you can come back to the penalty. At least we'll see some proactive some proactive play. Even the South Africans who love a scrum and love a penalty would at least have a crack in the backs because then they've got 2 or 3 rucks to take their advantage. So things like that just promote more excitement and more attacking.
I think it's fair to say we can summarize like this. Let's get rid of all the cards, and the only cards are for evil behavior of intent.
Yes, thank you.
And mainly if you're armed, and then move on from that. Scrums are a very important part of the game. You can still have a very dominant scrum, but you're not going to penalise and give cards out for people that just aren't very good at scrummaging.
Totally.
They're going to get penalised by being dominated.
Totally. Okay. And
so there's just 2 basic
Ricardo,
principles.
You don't get rid of the cards. You put people on report, right? So you put people on report and they go to the judiciary on a Monday night. And the other thing I'd really like to do is a countdown clock for scrums and lineouts must be done in 30 seconds.
Yeah, see, that just makes sense, but that's just so you can get the ball quicker on the wing.
No, this is because I think the problem is this is a health and safety issue. I think we're an anaerobic game and not an aerobic game. We need more time with people running, which I believe will then get the players to lose weight, right? Because it's more of an aerobic game. So we need to speed the game up from 30 to 34 minutes to 55 minutes, 60 minutes of play over 80 minutes. And that should be...
JK, you won't believe it. We actually did it 2-3 years ago in the Currie Cup in South Africa. Rassie changed it. In the Currie Cup, our own competition, we changed it only 30 seconds, and then the ball must be in. And I think it took up the ball in play by about 2 or 3 minutes in a game. So we did use it in Currie Cup because we want more ball in play. Even South Africa wants it. Although you don't believe us, but we do. We can beat you by more points. But
Victor, I do believe you.
But you really pushed it hard and it worked. So that's what we want to see. We want to see ball in play, teams go at each other, smash each other. That's what we want to see.
So the final summary on this is let's have a game that the fans fall in love with. Let's have a game that moves fast, that the fans can engage with and put their phones down and get excited by. That's what we're saying.
Fast and physical.
Yeah, fast and physical. So both parts. So you're happy, Victor. You're happy, JK and Trimby. You get to run with the ball. All right. Now, before we now we've sorted World Rugby out. That was easy. Just quickly,
last statement. Stand up, Brent Robinson and Yoel Judge, and do something. Stop just being there like a figurehead.
Right. Good. What do you think of the England-Argentina? There's a bit of controversy. A late hit from Curry and a bit of a scuffle in the tunnel.
Well. The thing
you don't care, obviously.
Well, no, I do care. It's just the inconsistency. I thought it was it late? Was it a yellow card? Depends on the referee. The scuffle in the change room, what was it? No, swinging of handbags, just a bit of emotion. Who cares?
Yeah, you know my opinion. No yellow card even there. Give the penalty, play on. It's a little late.
It wasn't even that late, really, was it? It wasn't that late. It was just unfortunately hurt him. He injured. that was just a bit unfortunate. But it didn't look that late, really.
No, I'm with
Just
Trimby
on
on
the
it.
edge, I'd say. But
So non-issue. So let's move on. Right. I'm going to ask you for I was going to call these awards the Susie Awards, to celebrate that great waitress of South Africa, just to celebrate the bond between the two countries. So the first Susie is
Trimby, you know who Susie is?
no, what's this? Explain
Trimby,
this
you
to
don't
me.
know who Susie is?
Is this
So-
before my time, lads? Does my
Yes.
dad know?
95, the excuse for the All Blacks.
So the players and the officials and the media liaison officer that got sick just before the final, the word was that the waitress, her name was Susie, that she sort of put the food together. So these are the Susie Awards to celebrate that special bond.
Trimby, all the team got sick, mate, before the World Cup final.
And the media
really.
liaison officer.
And Ricardo was media
They were
liaison.
stressed. They got a running stomach because they were stressed to go to Ellis Park.
Right. Who was well, we know yours, Victor, but who was your player of the year in 2025?
Marks. I mean, yeah, it was very clear he's been right at the center of everything, that South Africa have been completely dominant at physicality, poaching ability, just physically incredible and leading the way for South Africa. Yeah, it's Malcolm Marks.
Yeah, I probably couldn't go past that either. I don't like to agree with these two gentlemen often, but I just think he's been really dominant all year. I mean, I think the two best hookers, him and Cody Taylor at the moment, So
him and Dan Sheehan. If we're going to pick silver medals here.
Nah, we never do silver medals, mate. Second's nowhere.
I think close second, and he got injured, and maybe you won't like it, but I think Oxenshare was very close to Malcolm before he got injured. Also had a fantastic year. The scrum was solid, but also his poaching ability, tackles he made around the ground, and we've never had a front row winning the IRB Awards, so Player of the Year. So I think he was close second.
I'm actually boycotting even naming South African props. So I know we've named a 15, and in 1 and 3, I've just put insert random South Africa fat person. So
we'll send you a few if you need some, in the front row there.
Well, what I really like, I'm worried about moving forward, is that we all agree Malcolm Marks, but Trimby, you went for an Irishman, JK, you went for an All Black, and Victor, you went for another South African as your second pick. So that's a good start. Right, who in 2025 was a team going in reverse?
Ireland. Ireland went from second in the world to fourth.
I'm with JK on this one. Sorry, Trimby.
I don't know.
I think you guys need to look at something.
If the last game in your season is South Africa, everybody's going to be in reverse, apart from South Africa. So
no, sorry, Trimby. It was 1-1 this year between South Africa and New Zealand.
Okay, if that Wellington game had been the last game of the season, New Zealand would have been in reverse.
It's 1-1. It was 1-1. Like the November test. This is North versus South. This is us versus you guys.
So you think it's it's kind of neck and neck between you and the Springboks, do you?
It's 1-1 this year. It's 1-1. Like, that's the fact. The other fact is that Ireland started,
and it's 1 out of 5 in the last 5 test matches.
We're just talking about the season. We're talking about the season.
Wow, why did you cut it off? Let's just talk about the last game there.
Yeah, that's fair. You guys won the last game, and in that second half, but we're the only team that beat you this year. So, but Ireland lost to us, right, and lost to South Africa. So, from the North versus South, I think England have improved. I think England have got better. Wales don't even talk about. I think Scotland has remained where it is, and the only team that's gone backwards, or maybe stayed stationary, is Ireland.
Stationary, I think, is a fine place for us an acceptable place for us to land. I have Scotland here only because at the start of every championship or autumn nations, it kind of feels like there's a little bit of talk come from Scotland, and then ultimately the Argentina
but
collapse.
maybe make you feel a bit better, if we're talking about silver medals, I mean, that was a disastrous Northern Tour for Australia. So they would probably, to be fair, pip you out of.
That's a shame. That's a real shame for Australia, because just what Joe Schmidt did during the Lions Tour, and then subsequently just after that big win in South Africa, it's a real shame. But it's probably just a reflection of how tired they are. Picked up a few injuries. I'd say Australia will be able to get back up there. Obviously, they're losing Joe now, and Les Kiss is coming in there. But yeah, maybe they're a contender for that as well.
I mean, can we use the tiredness card nowadays? I mean, I know that the French, you know, when they come down to New Zealand in July, they don't respect and say, our players are tired, so they send their second team. And, you know, the Northern Hemisphere, when they come to New Zealand, it's the end of the season. I mean, is it a real thing or not? Can the Australians use that as an excuse or not?
Well, South Africa and New Zealand didn't use it as an excuse, and Argentina certainly didn't. So maybe not.
All right, the next one. So tell me, who is your team of the year and why? I know yours, Victor.
My team of the year is Argentina, because I just think that they have an incredible attacking game. They've beaten everybody. And I just think they're an incredible rugby team on the resources that they have. You know, they're out of the Super Rugby. Their players are playing in France. I just think they continue to make the top 4 in world rugby. They must be doing some amazing stuff over there. They keep producing great players. I think their back attack is some of the best in the world.
The only thing about Argentina is this is recency bias, JK, because they kind of finished strong. But just remember how, you know, we were talking about the last 2 rounds of Rugby Championship. They went back to back and they got hammered, dismantled 2 weeks in a row to Springboks. If they played Springboks more recently, that would be on our radar. Again, I'm just reeling from that's what Ireland have to cope with and how they're perceived. But yeah, anyway, it's brilliant to see Argentina, and you can see the benefit of having that top tier competition regularly and responding to it. So yeah, Argentina, fair enough.
Can I? Yeah. So I just think you know who I'm going to pick, but I was really surprised Saturday with that performance of the Boks. I really thought it was going to be tough against Ireland, and I think this Bok team, what they've went through, red card against France, still beat them. Went to Eden Park, didn't get the victory. Next week they reacted and smashed the All Blacks. Then the big win over Argentina. The Springbok team and what Rassie is doing. I mean, Saturday, so normally Rassie comes out in his training gear, everything. Saturday he walks out, number 1's on. I heard an hour and a half before the game, he called all the players who were on their cases about not being ready for the game. He just gets something right here. We've never had a Springbok team like this. I mean, that's been so dominant. So, yeah, I think all South Africans just love being supporters at the moment.
Victor, I'd like to agree with you, but that's what you expect if you're world champions, mate. And then you keep telling us you're world champions. So the reason
world champions
Argentina is because that you guys are world champions. That's what you expect. I mean, you should be disappointed you lost 1 game.
Yeah, what we were talking about, how everything is getting closer. When the top teams play each other, anything can happen. And I think this last 4 or 5 games, South Africa has just put a big space between them and the second team in the world.
No, you can't say that. It's 1-1 with the second team in the world. You
say lost against England. Come on. Just a week ago. Remember that. You lost against England just a week ago.
You guys lost against Australia.
The conversation of who is the gap between the first and the second team in the world has nothing to do with you, JK.
Yeah,
because New Zealand aren't second in the world.
All right.
Next question.
My team of the year. Can I give my team of the year?
Hey? Whose side are you on, mate?
Sorry. He's gone. Springboks are gone.
You need to choose the side, brother, because you're just flipping and flopping around each week.
They're not our problem. The Springboks are not our problem. No one can compete with them. We're all playing for second best, and at the minute, All Blacks aren't leading the way for second best.
It's 1-1 this year, guys. Remember that it's 1-1. Springboks versus All Blacks. It's 1-1.
Okay, let it go, JK. My team of the year is Belgium. Belgium had an incredible World Cup qualifying campaign and drew with Samoa in the final game, just about got through. Like, I didn't even know they played rugby in Belgium. But they have been one of the most incredible stories in world rugby this year, and the growth of the game. There must be someone doing something magic there to draw with Samoa and to beat other teams that that are ranked above them is a tremendous performance. But let's just keep moving. Coach of the year, Victor.
I'll have two. Provincial Coach of the Year, I'll say Johan van Graan with Bath. He's done fantastically well. And then International Coach of the Year. Rassie is just unbelievable at the moment. How he's doing things different, bringing some excitement as well. When he's announcing the team, he's bench playing centers at flankers. So I think he's great for the game, and he brings a lot of excitement to the game as well.
Yeah, I think I'll back that up. I think Rassie, I think he's leading at the moment. Like, the whole world's now doing what he's doing with the bench. What they call it, the POM squad now, instead of the bomb squad when the English use it. I just think that Rassie's leading in 2 or 3 different areas, and other people are starting to follow. And I'm a little bit jealous of that, because I think that that's where New Zealand was for a long, long time. And so Rassie, even what he's done with selection, if you're a traditionalist like I was, even 18 months ago, changing a winning side just wasn't around when we played, was it, Victor? You won your time, you get a bit, whereas he has actually completely changed to the fact where we go as All Blacks. Wow, we didn't play all these guys, and we completely changed the team at the end of the thing, at the end of the tour to play Wales. Should we be doing more like Rassie? This is us old guys talking, So yeah, I think Rassie is leading. I think he's I think he's just the guy that everyone's following. So that's hard, because you've got to get above him and try and be innovative, which is really hard.
Rassie's the figurehead, and he's the one does the press conferences and gets all the attention. And yes, he's obviously an incredible leader, very innovative and thoughtful. But I wonder how much of an impact the guys behind the scenes are having, like Felix Jones, Jerry Flannery, Tony Brown. Obviously, you can see his impact, and Felix Jones in particular. There's a bit of madness, I think, in some of these South Africa, like Rassie, the way he behaves, the way he chats, like he's different, and I love that, and I love the fact that he's kind of created a template to say, I'm going to do it differently because I see the game differently, and I'm happy to kind of roll the dice with that and take on whatever risk comes with that. And we've always found that with Rassie, just doing different things, even when it comes to the traffic lights on the stadium roof with the cheetahs, this sort of stuff. But Felix Jones, and it probably came out in the Chase of the Sun documentary, a good friend of mine, there's a madness with him as well, and a brilliant madness. There's a brilliance there with him, obviously completely dedicated, knows the game intimately, workaholic, absolutely loves it. But there's a character and a personality there that obviously has a lot of charisma and taps into the personalities around him. And I'd love to know what happens behind the scenes, because Jacques Nienaber came out last week and kind of advertised himself as coming back into the Springboks environment. So it's competitive. People want to be in there. It's obviously a special place to be because of the people involved. And I'd love to know more about how Felix is getting on, how he's perceived, and what are they saying about him in South Africa, Victor?
Yeah, Trimby, so I can tell you, there's 2 guys, and now maybe 3, that Rassie, I've been in that change room for a week where I just sat there, went to all the trainings, all the video sessions, all the planning sessions, and there's 2 guys that Rassie really respect and who we listen to. First is Jacques Nienaber, the 2 of them are very close, and then Felix. I know he rates Felix so high. And remember, before the previous World Cup, they said, listen, Rassie, these 2 guys are leaving. Felix is going to England, Jacques is coming to Ireland. And we see it there and then. We can tell you now, next World Cup, those 2 guys will be back in South Africa, getting all the information from England and Ireland, and they'll be back in the Springbok team with Rassie. And it's going to happen, I'm telling you. We called it. I can't not see Jacques coming back if he wants to go. Rassie will take him back immediately. And Rassie loves him. And that madness that you're talking about, remember, Rassie is just rugby. He eats, sleeps, wake up, it's rugby. He's got new ideas. He looks different than the game. And I think he enjoys Felix being pretty much the same. And it's all about work rate. Jock is probably more straight, and that's why he's on the defensive side. But these two guys, they love thinking out of the box, trying new things and work. And I think Tony Brown also came in, and I spoke with Tony after the game, and he says he's just loving it. He loves the environment, how they can challenge each other. So Rassie likes it. Rassie likes guys that can challenge him technically on the game as well and trying new things.
Right. The next one, who is, from what you've seen this year, who's the future superstar of rugby in what you've seen this year?
Sasha.
Henry Pollock for me. On and off the field.
What was that, Rick?
I know. It's a dread, but there's truth to it. On and off the field, because he's different. He's challenging, Ricardo.
Yeah, why is that a problem? Why is that a problem?
I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be, but I get why Ricardo sighed, because we all go, oh, well, because he's English, actually, probably more than anything.
That's the main reason, yeah.
But yeah, he's different. He challenges, like, if we're talking about the game moving on and the game changing, then we need people like that to challenge our perceptions. We're us old, tired, conservative rugby guys. We need that challenge by new, innovative kind of people who change the perception, like Henry Pollock.
Victor?
Yeah, I'm probably the same two guys. And I'm trying to think outside the box now about other guys around the world, someone new coming through. And there's not really much more than that. I'm thinking about France, but there's no new youngster that excites me. There's probably some of the older guys. I can't wait to see the pond back for them. Again, a player I think World Rugby needs. He's such a big character. It will be good to have him back on the park. Yeah, I think for this year, Sasha is probably the guy that excites everyone.
I think from a New Zealand point of view, I think Lester Fa'anuku's come back, and he's what Eddie Jones would call a hybrid. You know, plays wing, plays both wings, plays centre, can play 12. He can play 6, believe it or not, or 7 in the loose forwards at a pinch. So I think he's had a real good re-entry after being in France for a couple of years. And I think the positive thing from the All Blacks is after that last game, our backs are looking pretty strong. We seem to have 2 in every position, you know. So,
JK, you guys played Wales, huh? Now everything is fine, Trimby, huh?
That's a great way to get the confidence up in New Zealand. You should play Wales every week.
Trimby, it's best you should not talk about confidence, because you are the most confident nation in the world. You're going to win the World Cup 18 months ago, remember?
Gentlemen, let's just stay positive. 1 to go. What was your moment of the year?
It's beating South Africa at Eden Park.
I forgot about that.
Thought you might have.
South Africa beating France with 14 men for a long time. I think that was really special.
Hugo Keenan's game-winning try in the second test for the Lions.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that too.
I thought you would have.
That was a pretty good moment for you guys. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Well, that's the end of the season for us. You managed to survive without killing each other. Trimby, you managed to hide when you've been beaten by the South Africans. That was well done. But you did swim for the All Blacks. So, and we did have to see you without your shirt on, JK. So, you know, we also...
that was the worst moment of the season. Terrible.
Yeah. I'm with you
I've been dieting ever since.
Okay, we'll see you all next season. That's Rugby Rivals.